James Brown, real estate attorney and founder of Title Leap.
And I am David, closer extraordinaire and chief development officer of Title Leap.
Your title gets a little longer every week.
It does, but that's because I become more amazing every week.
Welcome back to this week's Title Talk. We are now discussing paragraph 10E of the FAR and the energy brochure.
The energy brochure. So this is a clause in the contract that assigns certain duties to documentation being provided to a prospective buyer, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And so there's a Florida statute, and the Florida statute says, a prospective purchaser of real property with a building for occupancy located thereon shall be provided information at the time of before the purchaser's execution of the contract for sale and purchase, which notifies the purchaser of the option for an energy efficiency rating on the building.
So it seems that, like, you know, the buyer's agent is putting forth an offer to a seller's agent, then this is something that should be already included, should have been provided
Part
to
of the
the
offer.
buyer.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And the statute says shall be provided. It doesn't say by who. And I think what David suggested is the best course of action, because in the contract on the FAR 2017 version, on line 217, it says buyer acknowledges receipt of a Florida energy efficiency rating information brochure as required by Florida statute 553.996.
So in other words, if a buyer submits an offer, then the seller can rely on this statement saying, hey, they were provided this because they acknowledged it already.
Now, what if you're the buyer's agent who never gave it to them, and now you're a buyer who doesn't want to close, and you go out and you find a really clever attorney?
Right.
It can create a problem. Even though the contract says the buyer acknowledges receiving it,
Right.
I found examples, I found cases where the transaction had been stalled and people had been frustrated. Again,
Right.
the contract on line 217 says the buyer acknowledges they received it.
Right.
On line 592, the FAR contract also says if this is intended to be a legal binding contract, if not fully understood, seek the advice of an attorney. So you would think all the bases were covered, right?
Right, you would think. I mean, it seems like a self-fulfilling clause almost within the contract where it says, hey, buyer got this, buyer sees this, they understand everything, done deal.
Now buyer signs an affidavit that says they never got it, and then it comes up in the transaction. So the done deal now goes to an emergency brake, and
Right.
so now everything goes into a pause. So what you said at the onset of the conversation is the best resolution.
Just make sure that you provide this to your buyers before submitting a contract.
Now it will never be a roadblock, a bump, a speed bump on the road to closing. And to go one step further, we can also provide you guys with a couple of energy rating consultants. So I did a little bit of research. A lot of these people don't answer their phones. I hope nobody's watching and gets offended. But I found a couple of firms that answered their phones and got back to me quickly. So if you deliver the energy rating brochure and a couple of consultants, this issue can't be brought up.
It's a non-issue.
Non-issue.
Sounds easy enough. Just make sure you do that ahead of time.
Yep. So we'll give you a couple of links where you can get the consultants and you can get a copy of the brochure. And we want you to stay tuned next week for another episode of Title Talk, where we help realtors get through the sometimes bumpy road of closing on the way to the closing table.
Actually, I did want to speak about our upcoming Money Move feature, Jim, a little bit.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So when is this going to come live? About a week from now?
I just talked to the developer, and it should be live. Today is the 19th. It should be live on Monday. And that is the feature where to make a deposit in our escrow account, realtors should not be involved in moving money. They shouldn't be giving wiring instructions. You just tell your buyer to go to newpathtitle.com and they can click on the dollar bill sign and they'll be taken through the whole money move experience. And we also do escrow only. It goes the same way.
So essentially what it does is it's going to provide your prospective buyers or anyone you need us to hold money for customized instructions on how to send us money.
Secure, as secure as we can make it.
Right.
And cyber fraud is $50 million a year drain on real estate transactions every month, $50 million a month in the U.S.
50 million a month. Wow.
And so we're trying to figure out a way to get the money in our account, and then we also have another feature we're perfecting to get the money out of our account. So all those commission checks are distributed safely, and the mortgage payoffs are distributed safely, and that's coming soon. But the money move feature to get the money into our account will be done in the next couple of days.
All right, well, I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching Title Talk with us, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Stay tuned.
Hey, thanks for watching another episode of Title Talk. Make sure you connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn so you can see all of our new episodes. And if you're joining us here on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe and hit the bell icon. And of course, for the YouTube algorithm and to make me super happy, I need you to smash the like button. Click it, tap it, just do whatever you gotta do. Smash the like button into tiny little pieces. We've got a partnership with a real estate photography company here in Palm Beach, and they're gonna give you 5 cents a foot for 3D Matterport tours and $15 digital floor plans. All you gotta do is go to newpathtitle.com, and you're gonna look for 5 cents a foot virtual 3D homes. Click here. We're gonna order a photo promo, and you're gonna fill out this form here with property address, zip code, and square footage, and you'll get a quote right away. And yeah, that's it. That's all you gotta do. Pretty simple. Yep. Go on. Go get your discount.